Name of this one is Controlled by Music. And this lesson was inspired by a video I was watching earlier, as you see in front of your screen, the weaponization of modern rap music. This is the brother GMS Dedication. I believe that's the brother Shaquan out there in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and pretty much when I watched this video, it's a little more than 15 minutes long, and pretty much, it encapsulates everything from how hip hop music was positive, had messages, to what you see today in this degenerative, you know, message that they're putting out there. Because contrary to popular belief, when hip hop first came out, it was Jake that had skill in putting words together, to convey or paint a picture in the person, in listener's mind, and able to, by those positive influences, make better decisions in their life and live more of a, you know, lifestyle than a negative lifestyle. And once like 1990 came around or so, the late 80s into the early 90s, it started to be pushed into a satanic, demonic, you know, gangster rap, where it started to push out a different message. Because remember, these songs were pretty much the songs that were being sung by Jake back in the late 70s, early 80s, was pretty much like a message or a way of communication, with the rest of the Israelites that were out there, and then they took that positive influence and turned it into something negative, and they know that frequencies play a big part in it. And what I have here is National Library of Medicine, and pretty much this is music and noise, same or different, what our body tells us. And it says abstract. And this article is from the evolutionary significance of the hearing system of Homo sapiens. Music and sound impinge upon our body and our mind, and we can react to both either positively or negatively. Much depends in this regard on the frequency spectrum and the level of the sound stimuli, which may sometimes make it possible to set music apart from noise. There are, however, two levels of description: the physical acoustic description of the sound and the subjective psychological reaction by the listeners. And this is pretty much what it is. They're using sound as a weapon, and they understand about the different hertz and the different, frequencies that can be played that affect people's moods. When we go to, I typed in frequencies change mood, it says 528 hertz is shown to have repair effects and be energizing and healing. 639 hertz helps balance emotions and elevate mood, as well as promote love and understanding. 741 hertz helps with problem solving, cleansing the body, and self expression. 852 hertz helps with nervousness and anxiety. Then down here it says, do emotions vibrate at different frequencies? Emotions such as fear and anger had lower frequencies, while emotions like love and joy were found to have higher frequencies. Based on these findings, researchers have also delved into the therapeutic potential of using emotional energy in healing practices. So you have to remember that these devils have been very busy, in their endeavors. As it states in the book of Psalms 64 and 5, it says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. And this music is being used as, setting traps for Jake to have them in that constant, dismal, rebellious, fighting one another, killing one another, hating one another spirit, and it's not a good spirit, but it is a part of the curses that the Lord said would come upon us. They said, who shall see them? So they search out iniquities. So these devils, they search. And what do they search? They search out iniquities. What frequencies are the worst? What frequencies make you react to keep you in a low state, to keep you sad, to keep you depressed, to keep you killing each other? What chemicals best are suitable to keep the body down, to keep the cognitive functions down, so that you don't think too much, so that you don't, realize that the person that's causing all of the problems, the the uh, the direction is channeled from the person that is doing the wrong to your own brothers, your own sisters. Looking at them at me when in all reality, the Edomites, the so-called white man, and the rest of his cabinet from whatever nation they may be, even including, Israelites too, that are helping this devil in these plans. Like they clone Tyrone. So it says they are what a diligent search. So these devils search. They leave no stone unturned. They accomplish a diligent search. They're constantly examining and checking things out and finding out what this does. And when they find out what it does, how can they improve it? How can they make it better? How can they make it, more effective in their plans that they're pushing? It says both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Yeah, because they'll tell you something on the surface, but their true intentions are never revealed until it's too late. So as we move on through here, it says, what frequency is anger? The vibrational frequency of joy is 540 and is expansive. The vibrational frequency of anger is 150 and falls to contraction. It says the emotional energy current can feel fluid and specious, like in a deep state of meditation, bliss of equanimity. Now you have some of these frequencies like 440, which is used for better cognitive, to be able to think better. But when you put in a frequency like that for someone to be able to think clearer, but then you add a message of negativity to it, what do you think that clarity is going to do? It's gonna take the vibration or the thought of that wicked shit that you're listening to and put it into your mind. So that's what you're clearly thinking of. It says, is anger a high frequency? Joy, love, passion, and happiness are some of the highest frequency emotions. Fear, anger, grief, guilt, and jealousy are some of the lowest frequency emotions. And what do you think they have us, at? They have us at the lowest frequencies of emotions. Lack of self-esteem, hatred towards one another, fear, anguish, anxiety. This is why Jake is fucked up. This is why a lot of Jake turn to food for comfort, and then turn into that food. They're making their situation worse, but at the moment it seems the best thing to do. And then with this lousy music that they pump out there, it's actually making a situation a very toxic environment, for the mind. Because if your mind is in a toxic state, your actions are going to be toxic. If your mind is blissful state, your actions are going to be blissful. And they know this. And they know that they can control that by way of these different frequencies, through music, through messages that they push out there. I typed in what frequency is hate. Low frequency under 20 hertz and high frequencies above 20,000 hertz that the humans cannot perceive can also affect the ear and have adverse effects on our health. And this is why they have, all of these different modems and, the different internet, whatever the hell those things are called that you have in your house to send those signals out, because those signals send a negative vibration into your system. And they know that by constantly, they don't have to do it in one high dose. They could do a little dose at a time, and that eventually just breaks down your health. This is why a lot of people are sick too. And then you go to the doctor, you go to the emergency room, you go to these different places, and you try to figure out what the problem is. You get all different types of tests done, and everything comes back negative or comes back normal. But it's because some of these frequencies are effing people up, as well as the chemicals that are put in these foods. It says, what frequency is sadness? Overall, the findings of the research are interesting and establish the relationship between pure tone frequency in hertz and perceived emotions, specifically the crossover points of all four primary emotions: happy, sad, and range of 407. All right. What frequency is 440 hertz? Current reference frequency tuning musical instruments is 440 hertz, which corresponds to the musical note A4, LA3 in the central octave. Hertz is considered cerebral music that helps with the listener's cognitive development and is associated with the activation of the third eye chakra. Listening to this higher frequency is extremely potent and an effortless way to experience a deeper dive within our consciousness. So if you're playing music at 440 hertz, and it sends a direct line into your subconscious, or your conscious or subconscious mind, and the message that's going with it is negative, what do you think you're going to react to? You're going to react negatively. And these devils know that, and they're pushing that, on the masses. All right. Now, remember, we read Psalm 64:6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. So they've been researching this stuff. They've been searching this stuff. They've been, testing, trial and error. Okay, this works, this doesn't work. That works, this doesn't work. And they continuously keep turning that thing over and over again until they perfect it. And once they perfect it, they go even further in research with it, even more. Remember, they accomplish a diligent search. So when we go to Ecclesiastes 12:4, it says, and the door shall be shut in the streets. And we're witnessing right now, a great economic imbalance in the world. And that economic imbalance in the world is causing businesses to shut down on purpose, because they want to introduce the UBI, or the Universal Basic Income. Right? And that Universal Basic Income is something that they're going to use to control the masses of the people. And they'll be able to put money on it and take money away depending on your behavior, if you comply with the new system that is being put in place. It says, when the sound of the grinding is low. What is grinding? Grinding is working. And when the sound of the grinding is low, meaning their jobs are starting to dry up because things are getting more and more expensive. Corporations rather pay employees to work at home than to front a bill for an office building where they have a large overhead, as to where now all of the overhead is put really on the employees, because now they got to use their own electricity, their own water, their own whatever at their home, where you don't have to pay that extra bill that you were paying before. All you have to do is pay the employees. So eventually that's going to cause even more of a collapse. The more they collapse this dollar, to where these corporations are looking at their overall, taken, gross, and they're saying, this is not working out. We're going to take our business and go overseas somewhere where we can make more money, or give more bang for our buck. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, meaning in the morning. When the birds come out chirping in the morning, that's usually the time to get up. It says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And right now, the daughters of music are being brought low by this degenerative state that they're pushing out there in this demonic agenda, that is being pushed through music, because they know that music has a great effect on the human psyche, you know, and this is why they use certain frequencies, and sometimes, well, certain frequencies plus the negative lyrics that go with it and the negative mindset that is brought out there, like in the video that you know I was referring to here, that the brother put together, the weaponization of modern rap music. You have different artists, different individuals giving their testimony, on the message of the music. And the one individual, I don't remember his name. He was, they go to chill out at a club, and all they listening to is this. They get shot or killed or be, and that good time went away. Why? Because of monster music. You have this monster, demonic shit going on, and you're trying to relax and chill, but that music that you're listening to is not designed to relax and it's designed to stir up. It's designed to stir up anger. It's just designed to stir up conflict. You see? And they know exactly what they're doing with it. So when we go on to Revelation 17:5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written. This is dealing with America, Babylon the Great, which is the great whore. Mystery, because it is a mystery. Babylon the Great, which Babylon the Great is the greatest. This is the greatest conglomeration of confusion on the planet. This is why you can be anything you want to be here. And many different nations come here with many different languages, many different ideologies, so on and so forth. It says the mother, and then this music is a part of that, because that music causes nothing but conflict. It causes nothing but confusion. Right. This is Ecclesiastes 7:5, the brother young elder Hawad. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Right. And that is the song of fools. What a fool believes. Inside joke. It says the mother of harlots. Why? Because they push, you can worship anything you want here. Any God, any religion, any mindset, or whatever the case may be. Then it says, and abominations of the earth. The abominations of the earth is this mode lifestyle that they're pushing to these people. And they're also pushing it through the agenda of music. Videos you watch, they show you women kissing each other, tonguing each other down like if there was a dude and a chick, and they push that negative thought out there, and then in the music, sometimes they put like little messages, like I was listening to this song years ago, Case, I forgot the name of the song. It was a bad song, badass beat and everything. It had I think it was 2 female rappers on it. I forgot the name of the song. And one time I was sipping some yayan and listening to it, and I could have sworn I heard like a real soft voice subliminally say, be a lesbian. I was like, oh shit, did I hear that? But this is the messages that they put in there. Little subliminal things, gradually they just put it in and toss it in there. Let's see, brother put Ecclesiastes 44:4. Yep. Leaders of the people by their counsel and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing. Right, that goes back to the Psalms, that they put together. But the point is that you were actually able to play musical tunes and write lyrics that were positive as a praise to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for delivery, or just for gratefulness, or for whatever the case may be. But today you have the same thing, because remember the Apostle Paul spoke about the poets. Matter of fact, let's get there real quick. Let's see what that says. Acts 17:28. For in him we live, meaning in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. So music was supposed to be set up as a message of righteousness, of holiness, of hope. You know, when one was down and out, a message of hope. A message of, don't worry, things are gonna be all right. Trust in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But it turned from that just to a total degenerative thing. So when we look up the word poets, which I don't believe I ever looked this up, you have the word poietes, poietes, right? It says a maker, a producer, author, right? So you can have a producer that would be considered, because remember, you have the great composers of the past, which today they come back as producers, and those great composers were able to take certain notes from whatever instrument and other instruments and put it all together to create a masterpiece. Then you would have some poets that will actually put words to these masterpieces, to convey a message, a musical message to the listening audience. So today these producers, they take pieces and bits of music, drum tracks, and different things and combine them together to create, this music or this song. But a lot of times what they're doing that is they're using it for the agenda of the so-called elite, to push that demonic agenda out there. It says a doer performer, right? Because the poets would write their poetry, and then they would perform it so that others can hear, and have the pleasure of listening to something creative that they put together. And this, hip hop performers, singers, so on and so forth. It says one who obeys or fulfills the law, a poet, right? So these poets wrote poetry. They composed music. Today we see it done, but we see it, the Case, Foxy Brown, yeah, Touch Me, Tease Me, that's it, that's the one. Badass beat, badass song. But I'm telling you, there was a part in there years ago. I tried to go back and listen to it, but I couldn't find it again. There was a part in there that I could have sworn, I know we're not supposed to swear, that I heard a little subliminal message, a real soft voice said, be a lesbian. Now I could be wrong, but I heard that, and I was like bugging out. But these are the subliminal messages that they push out there through music, and they know that's how they're able to control the masses by this music. Now, there's a saying, music calms a savage beast, right? But music can also stir up the savage beast. Like in the case of the scripture that the brother put at the beginning of this video in 1 Samuel 16, that said that the King Saul had a evil spirit from the Lord that troubled him, and King David came and played his harp and soothed King Saul's spirit, and that evil spirit left. So just as music can calm the savage beast, it could also stir up the savage beast. And these devils know that by playing certain frequencies, they can change a person's mood. They know that. When we go to Revelation 18 and 20, right, this is dealing with the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. And all of these different magical influences and things that Esau has been pushing out to control the masses of the people are going to eventually be done away with, right? Revelation 18 and 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. Meaning when this place is totally destroyed and totally annihilated, it's going to end all of this foolishness, it's going to end all of this influence worldwide. Now, the ones that survive are not going to repent of their wickedness and murders and sorceries and things of that nature. They're going to try to rebuild, or so they think they are, because their mindset. But the point is that they're going to want to try to get back and do the same thing that they've been doing, but there's going to be a change of plans because a new landlord is coming to take over this property called earth, which is Yahweh Shai. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So this great city Babylon, which was established upon violence, is going to go down in violence, because this place is known as the city of confusion. Let's get there real quick, and we'll come back. It's known as the city of confusion, and this city of confusion is going to be done away with. It's going to be laid to rest. Isaiah 24:10, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in, because eventually the Lord is going to bring a destruction. As we read further down, it tells us that, the earth is going to rock to and fro from this great, earthquake that's going to be hitting this place. And the earthquake is going to be an earthquake created by the missiles that hit and pelt down upon the soils of America. It's going to cause a vibration that's going to rock the whole earth off of its axis. It says, there is a crying for wine in the streets, meaning for this truth. All joy is darkened. Why? Because the mirth is going to cease. The mirth of the land is gone. Why? Because the Lord is going to bring this place down. Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Why? Because it was created and set up by violence. Is going to go down by violence. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. So pretty much there's not going to be anything that anyone's going to do to stop this great judgment that's coming. They shall lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord, they are going to be singing and praise. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the power of Israel in the isles of the sea. Right, because this place is being thrown down to make room for the righteous kingdom of Yahushai, which he's going to share with us. All right. So let's go. Matter of fact, let me read a little more. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. Right, that's the truth coming out. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. And what does it say? When they finish to deal treacherously, the Lord is going to have them to deal with treachery. The Lord is going to, bring their own, ways upon them. You reap what you sow. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitants of the earth. So you Edomites, fear and death, and desolation, the pit, all of this stuff is gonna be waiting for you, So let's go from there back to Revelation 18. It says, read it again, 18 and 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her. And the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So this place, once it's destroyed, it will never be inhabited again. If the people that dig down into the soils of America to build their shelters, that's going to be their grave. Because the scriptures say that there's not going to be any inhabitants left. Read Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51. There will be no inhabitants left on the soils of America. The only ones that are going to survive of these so-called elite are the ones that are around the world, the ones that are in different bunkers around the world, and the Edomites that are still above ground in certain places of the earth that don't get hit by these missiles and by the lasers from the chariots. It says, in the voice of harpers and musicians. So all this lousy hip-hop music, R&B music, all these lousy genres of music that you got out there pushing these negative messages are going to be thrown down. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all indeed. No more hip-hop, no more gangster music, none of that bullshit. No more of these foul, degenerate R&B songs. No more of any genre of music, because everything is going to change. All right, and the closest thing to the heavenly music that you hear is classical music, harp music, things of that nature. It says, "And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee." Why? Because the Lord is going to destroy this place, and He's going to He's going to spread upon it the stones of emptiness and line of confusion. It says, "And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee," right? Because there will be no more lights, no more color lights to hypnotize, sparkle someone else's eyes, Yeah, y'all brothers know the song. All that's going to be gone, because these are all tactics, little gimmicks, little accessories that were used by America to fool the world, as the Apostle John was hypnotized. "And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee," right? Because no more marriages, "for thy merchants were the great men of the earth," right? The other nations. "For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived," and that goes into the cup in the whore's hand, which has nothing to do with the MOTB in Revelation 13. It says, "And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth," right? Because this place here is going to be used to bring judgment upon America for all that was shed by Esau, of the saints of the Most High, the Israelites. Remember the 17th chapter of Revelation. Let me see if I go back. The 17th chapter of Revelation. Let me see if it's still here. Yep. In verse 6, "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration." Now, this is physically that they did this, but also directly and indirectly, because they are also, indirectly responsible for killing the saints when they put this lousy music and lousy food out there and have Jake killing each other. This is why it says, "Woe unto him that put his bottle to his neighbor." You're making them do these things. You're pushing them into doing these things by living these lifestyles, but you're going to have to pay for it. Isaiah 26:1, "For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inheritance of the elect are all going to receive their iniquity." Disclose her blood, meaning what? It's going to uncover that these devils have done. Every crime that these devils have done, mass graves that maybe have never been found, all of the deaths that they caused that have never been reported or never been recorded. Because remember, when we read the history of slavery, we read the history of the massacre of the tribe of Gad and the other tribes throughout, from Canada all the way down to South America, there's only an estimation of how many were here and how many were put to death. There's not an accurate number. And that number is I know it's a lot higher than what they bring. It says, "The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain." So you're not going to be able to cover the slain anymore, because everything is going to be brought out, and the Lord's going to bring the judgment upon you. So you're using, you're controlled by music. That's true, but you're going to have to pay for all of these iniquities that you've committed. Remember, it says, "For 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, the Lord is not going to turn away the punishment thereof." You're going to be dealt with severely. Inside joke, but true. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.